What purpose does the discount mentioned in the first paragraph primarily serve? A. To make it easier for customers to deal with the new mandatory phoneless policy. B. To reinforce sanitation policies and stop customers from putting their phones near the plates. C. To suggest a technique that encourages customers to ditch their phones during the meal. Or D. To explain the reason for the profits rise of 40% to 50%. Let's begin by taking a look at where the discount is mentioned in the first paragraph. We see it in the first sentence, which tells us that Eva Restaurant in Los Angeles offers diners a 5% discount for leaving their phones with the receptionist for the entirety of the meal. Because the text tells us that this discount is offered only to diners who leave their phone with the receptionist, we can see that C, to suggest a technique that encourages customers to ditch their phones during the meal, is likely our final answer. If we'd like to be cautious, we can also skim through the other choices. A, to make it easier for customers to deal with the new mandatory phoneless policy. Although the last paragraph of the text gives examples of restaurants who have tried out a mandatory phoneless policy, in the context the discount is being mentioned in, it's simply encouraged and not mandatory. This can be marked off. B, to reinforce sanitation policies and stop customers from putting their phones near the plates. The passage opens by telling us that cell phones often claim a spot on the table in restaurants, sitting right next to utensils, plates, and glasses. But this is merely to illustrate how present cell phones are when dining out. Nowhere in the text does it mention how this is a hygiene concern. This can be marked as incorrect as well. And D, to explain the reason for the profits rise of 40% to 50%. The text tells us that the chef estimates that 40% to 50% of customers have opted in and ditched their phones, but nowhere does it mention a rise in profits. This can be marked as incorrect, and C, our first choice, can be marked as our final answer.